Hello, Monsieur et Mademoiselle. Aujourd'hui, 我们有一个 attack 等你们. So this base, our boy Hypno is going to be hitting it with laloon. It's going to have a blimp in it. Not quite sure how the blimp works yet, but it's pretty interesting a thing to do. So laloon is a pretty versatile attack. It can be wielded at any town hall level that has access to lava hounds, so 9 and up, with a lot of effectiveness, especially now with siege engines like stone slammers and blimps. In our boy Hypno's case, he's going to be taking this base on with a blimp. He's going to just pop a blimp over on this side, and it's going to have an electric dragon and a couple balloons inside, and just going to take out this entire section over here. It's some crazy stuff you can do with sieges now. It's like, I never would have imagined this shit like 2 or 3 years ago. But anyway, yeah, we're going to be learning how to laloon, or at least looking at a laloon and determining what we could have done better with it. So let's look at this. First of all, let's just look at the base itself. Is it laloon worthy? Or like, is laloon a good match for this base? So what I immediately notice is these air defenses are pretty close to the outside, right? So you can pick a couple of them off with the kill squad. Say you could walk your queen from maybe 10:30 or 9:30ish, 10 o'clock. Just walk her up here. Gonna walk her clockwise. You get that, and it's these are multis. Is another thing that I'll notice along that train of thought. Could walk this, break her in over here. She goes inside, and low level multi inferno. You get a CC pull. You get the queen, and then a couple of other threats to laloon over here. Wizard towers are a big threat because in a laloon hit, you want your balloons to be bunched up because they can't kill buildings alone, right? And they have a really slow attack speed. These wizard towers, they kill big groups of balloons, and big groups of balloons bunched up together all in that one little spot is your key to a successful laloon. That big pack of balloons is going to be jeopardized by this bugger over here, and some X-bows deal quite a bit of damage, and the most obvious one is going to be the air defense over there. These are low level multis, so not too much to worry about, but multis can still hurt quite a bit. The sweepers are not really optimally positioned for. I don't think the space can really defend against a laloon anyway. The sweepers are low level, and yeah, sweepers low level. There isn't really much to keep your balloons from deviating from the path that they normally would. The thing that kills balloons and kills laloons pretty quickly is when your balloon pathing is not optimal and not efficient. Like if your balloons zigzag, your balloons have a really slow movement speed. So any time that they lose going like here and then splitting out here, and now you have two groups of balloons traveling towards this inferno. Say if this archer tower is gone, they're just traveling to this inferno, and first wave falls and then second wave falls over there because not even the splash damage from their death is going to kill that shit because they're not bunched up. You just wasted a bunch of time. You're gonna have to drop a haste somewhere over on this side just to keep them going, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, what you're gonna want to do in the laloon is you're going to obviously have lava hounds and balloons. The combo is what makes the laloon. The role of each here is these. I can't zoom in. Lava hounds are your tanking units, and they also serve as your cleanup troop. You want to get them to pop. You want to get them to die, but before they die, you want them to be able to absorb as much damage as they can and buy time for your balloons to get close and then drop their bombs on them. And yeah, so Hypno is he's gonna do that shit. So clone spell takes out pretty good section, so you can see he's popped a bunch of Teslas over here. It's a symmetrical base, so you can safely assume that there are Teslas over here. This ED has quite a bit of HP left on it, so it's probably going to be able to take out a bunch of this shit. And you can immediately see where he drops his first hound. So it's going to be traveling along this path, which is good. That's another thing that I should have said about the base, actually, is a good base to laloon is a base where wizard towers are within close proximity to the air defenses, because this way, this hound is just going to sit on top of this air defense, right? It's not going to go anywhere, which means this wizard tower is just going to hammer away on it. It's going to hammer on that level 4 hound and not going to do anything to it, which leaves your balloons free to do whatever the fuck they want. So what I would have done differently is, first of all, notice that group of balloons was over there. They wouldn't have gone down there. In a balloon raid, in a laloon, you normally go really heavy in the beginning, and then you let that group progress towards the inside of the base, and you carve away at anything that will prevent them from going towards an objective area, sort of, that you have. When you have a laloon raid, you want to get your balloons into a certain sweet spot, and this base has a pretty clear and predictable sweet spot, which is good for laloon pathing. It has everything that deals damage to balloons along this this line over here. You see it, right? There's wizard towers all along here, slightly insets, air defenses. You have your inferno tower over there, expos. They're all within this predictable path over here, and you can just travel along here to get to your final destination over there, and you just have some auxiliary point defenses here that you can pretty easily deal with by sprinkling in balloons as you go. So yeah, first hound drop, that's good. It goes in over here. It covers a lot of empty space, which means it's going to absorb traps, which are also a threat to your balloons. So another thing that I didn't point out about this is it pulled 2 black bombs, and that's really good because there are only like 4 or 5 in the base. I forget. I think it's only 4, but yeah, it pulled all of those buggers, which means this base you can butt fuck pretty easily. So we're just gonna watch this attack unfold, and you're going to see that this hound over here, you immediately see that it was just wasted, right? Like, it was tanking, 4-point defenses, 4 or 5-point defenses, and I think it even got the, what's it called on it? It got this shit's aggro, not that it's pointed in the correct direction anyway to defend against a laloon, but all that shit was tanked. It's free real estate, bro. Drop 1 balloon over here maybe because the Sui blimp didn't manage to get to it, and then it's just gonna path over this way, and you get that first group of balloons to go inside, and then you have the second group over here. You delay this drop. You delay when you drop this shit, so it goes in there, right? They go in that way, here, here, and here, and then by that time, that's when these loons should be on this one. And what that's gonna do, they take away this defense, which means that the balloons are just gonna path over here. They're not gonna go back out there, waste time, and not be bunched up and like leaving 2 HP on it till their attack speed catches up and they're able to drop another bomb. So yeah, sprinkle them in slowly, not like this. See these balloons? These balloons are wasted because they're not gonna do anything. And this hound over here, I don't know why that hound is over there, bro. Do not have your hound over there because it's not tanking for anything. These are the tanks in your raid. So if you're going to drop a hound, at least like the moment it pulls aggro, so you drop it over here, then you drop loons on there right away. It would be easier to describe in a diagram, which luckily I did prepare. So just an example of what I would have liked this raid to look like. So that first portion over there, that Sui blimp, that's perfect, that's fine. You got a lot of objective areas over on that side, but what you really needed to do is actually get balloons into the base and do some work. So this Tesla is already dead. This one is kind of dying because arc lightning, right? And you just have a clear objective ring over here. You want to keep your balloons over here. So you send in a big group, and that's the group that's going to be traveling along here, right? And then you just keep your hastes moving along here, and they should be progressing really fast. And then you just sprinkle in a couple of balloons, like packs of 2, packs of 3, and then occasionally packs of 4, just to keep supplementing the balloons that die, because these guys, they're going to be like 3 left from this original group over here by the time you get over to this Inferno Tower. So your goal is just to keep on like pincering them. If you've seen like Obito's mask, if you watch Naruto Shippuden, it's like gnarled, it's like all twisted. Like it's all going towards the middle. You just want to like keep inserting needle, 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 and you want everything to be staying towards the middle, because that's where all of the threat to the balloons is. And you have a finite amount of time. You don't have a lot of tanking. Balloons by themselves, they have a bit of HP, but they're not going to be enough to just solo the base by themselves, because quite obviously they're really slow and they have slow attack speed. They have high attack damage, but they trade that for low attack speed and low movement speed. You need to do it while your hound is alive, which is why it's very important to keep them from straying. So we're just going to keep them going over here in the clockwise motion until they reach this end part. Now, he had his king go in over on this side because the attack wasn't going well, so get percentage where you can, but at this point you could have dropped king over here, and now it's tanking 2 archer towers, and quite possibly you could have had a couple wizards over on this side and funnel your king in to this side over here. He could have gotten that air defense as well and start tanking for that last archer tower, and this would have been a Gucci raid. Could have been a 3. Very easily could have been a 3. It's just need to focus a little bit more on the goals of a laloon. So in a laloon, what you need to be doing is getting rid of the threats to the laloon as fast as you can. Laloon is a very time-consuming raid. If you have just a limited number of hastes, okay, maybe. I'm starting to forget what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, okay, never mind. I have no idea what I was trying to say. But anyway, main points. Big group of loons in the beginning. Heavy group of loons. This is going to be your main workforce, and you're just supplementing in. You're just adding a little bit more at a time as they path along the base. You just want to keep this big black cloud of death traveling along this ring of very important buildings until they get to their. You babysit them. You just make sure they all stick together until they get to the end, because they're not going to be killing things by themselves. Slow attack speed, remember, slow movement speed as well. And at the same time, while you're keeping them moving, you have to do it just fast enough that your hounds will be able to keep tanking for them and absorbing all the traps and as much damage as they possibly can before they die. And another thing too that lots of people forget is you want your hounds to die, because a hound by itself does like no damage. I think it does like, was 30 DPS. Let me just look real quickly how much damage this guy does. So 14 damage per second. So that guy hammering at a couple of buildings is not going to do anything. You want him to die, and you want him to make a bunch of these fuckers. I don't know how many he spawns when he dies. 12 units when he dies. So a bunch of 35 damage per second guys. These are like, that's what, 425 damage per second. That's like, that rivals a wizard's. That's like 2 wizards already, and we all know that you only need 2 wizards for a cleanup on any given hog raid. So popping that hound and making sure he dies is a pretty key part of a laloon as well. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to do a laloon. You want to enter and take out as many objectives as you possibly can with your kill squad, with your initial entry, and you're gonna want to get your group of balloons inside the base while your hounds are still alive, and you're gonna want to keep them on the inside, because any deviation to that jeopardizes the possibility of getting a 3-star. And yeah, that's it. Peace out, boys and girls. Au revoir.